The Storms washed away a lot of week one of local high school football, but still have some results to talk about today on Prep Sports Now. I'm Case Kiefer alongside Ray Brewer. Got a handful of games in, as I alluded to, and I know some people probably thought we got along too well on the first podcast, so I got to hold Brewer to task on one thing. But where do you want to start with in week two, Ray?
Well, now I'm curious as to what you're going to hold me to task on, because I thought I was, fairly almost flawless in my projections, but you hold me to task and you hold me to task later. I think we just started about the weather. It's Monday. We've all survived this hurricane. I know you've been in Florida before in your life, and you know what a hurricane is, and we didn't much get anything, but it did force a lot of games to be canceled. And the ones that were played with some delays. I know one game where there was at least 10-minute quarters. And I know another game where they got it in, but the game didn't get over till midnight. The coaches were very appreciative of the referees for hanging around in the whole 9 yards. So week one kind of highlighted by rain. I will tell you, though, there was a few good little outcomes, few good little results. Faith Lutheran, 24, Palo Verde, 21. Faith goes up early. They handled the delay a little better than Palo. Palo comes storming back. Late rally by Faith Lutheran. Caden Crittenden, probably saying that wrong, and I love that.
That's pretty close.
It is, okay.
I think Caden Crittenden, yeah.
A little field goal to win the game. Faith Lutheran prevails. Shout out to Liberty. I hate to say, but losing by 20 points and feeling good about yourself, but the Patriots 42, defending national champion St. John Bosco, rated number 5 in the nation, beats them 42-22 on the road in Cali. Liberty was up 10-7 after the first quarter. I don't know what to make of the Liberty team until I see them against St. Luke's on Saturday, but I know Coach Morocco said they had 30 returners. They played a lot better than you would expect them to play. I think Bosco's comparable to Gorman, if you will. So that leads me to think that the Gorman-Liberty game might be a little closer than we thought going into the year. Last year was a running clock. I'm moving my hands in the air in the running clock motion. Nobody could see that. And, of course, Gorman scored on 10 of 11 possessions. Big win in Utah, even though they gave up a season's worth of points.
All right, yeah. So since we reached this point,
this is what you were waiting for.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You said one absolutely just ridiculous thing on the podcast last week. And I think I don't even think the podcast enough. I think you deserve a handwritten letter of apology to everyone that were on that national championship team. And look, I'm towing the line here. I'm not hating on the current Gorman team. They're going to win the state championship. They're great. But you said this team is 100 times better than a team that got the ultimate prize, a team that gave up like 20 points in a season. Gorman in week one. Oh man, now the ads are blowing up. I'm so fired up for it. Brewer's trying to drown me out. Yeah, I mean they gave up 42 points. They hadn't proved anything. I understand the recruiting rankings. They got this many kids going to D1. They're going to win state, like I said. But to say that they're like one of the best Gorman teams of all time when they hadn't stepped into the field, that was just ridiculous. And I feel like the 2016, 2017, what were the years where they were really good?
13 to 15.
13 to 15 deserve an apology from you for that statement.
So I would say you remember those three teams had like the Haskell Garretts of the world leading the charge on the defensive line. And they did beat who was the quarterback? Josh Rosen. They beat Josh Rosen when Rosen was with John Bosco, and they had
James Cook. I remember they played his team.
Yeah, they had Bubba Bolden, who's trying to make the Cleveland Browns, and Haskell Garrett, who had a great career at Ohio State, and the Perry kid at DB, and they had some Jimmies and Joes, but did they have to play a quarterback as good as this quarterback in Utah? Zach Wilson's brother, slinging the ball around.
I mean, even if I give you some leeway, though, you said they were 100 times better. You think that defense full of guys that were in the draft, at least, or getting shots in the NFL would have given up 42 points?
I mean, this guy's a 4-star or 5-star, and he's going to the U.
Yeah, they played like
U of U.
They played some of these California teams that were like top 2 in the nation, and the games were like 27-20.
Yeah, well,
I can't ever remember.
Leave it to you to focus on the defense.
I
What about
can't
the
believe I
offense?
just seeing Gorman give up 42 points is just crazy. I mean, the offense, yeah. You can't say anything bad about the offense. I mean, Michael Alejado seems like he's been there forever, but I don't have the box score in front of me. It's taken forever to load, but I'm assuming he had a huge game. I mean, talk about putting your name in the record books. I mean, he's got to be up there as one of the greatest all time at Gorman with the body of work he's putting together and a lot of other guys. So yeah, that was very impressive, but it's a team game and the 42 points stick out to me.
The 42 points do stick out. Micah Campana, Michigan commit, had a big day. Gorman did a lot of its damage on the ground, very windy day. I still think, and I don't want to exaggerate, I don't want people to come back on me, but I've always said if Gorman just wanted to line up in Power I and say, come on and beat me, could they do that every week?
I think it'd be ridiculous. Like, why would you? You have all these athletes. You have like an athletic advantage in every game. Why don't you try to get your guys out into space? I mean, yeah, they could win anyway they wanted, but I think that would be a underutilization of their biggest assets, in my opinion.
The biggest assets being the Jimmies and the Joes.
Yeah, I mean, you got guys that can make plays. You got a quarterback who can sling it. I think you want to do a little bit of everything. I guess shifting gears with their, I guess, de facto rivals. They're the only team that's beat them in town in the last 15 years. But I also was very impressed by Liberty despite the loss. I think both you and I would have had that being a lot more lopsided. And, maybe the gap is a little bit smaller than we thought after Liberty kind of hung with Bosco, ended up losing by 20.
Yeah, and shout out to Liberty. They represented themselves very well on a national stage. You remember still the year that Liberty beat Gorman, they lost all 5 of their out-of-state games. Some of them weren't too pretty, and then they kind of pieced it together. Props to their kick return game. They had two long kicks, CK, that really changed the course of the game. So I know Jaden Robertson had so Bosco goes up 7-0, and then Roberson takes the ensuing kickoff like 85 yards to the goal line, and then they score. They go for 2. They get that. They're up 8-7. They get a safety. They're up 10-7. And then later in the game, they get another kick return. This one from, gosh darn it, CK, I can't find the kid's name. I feel so bad. Peyton Codwell to the house. Touchdown. Liberty, of course, they've got Tyree Smith under center, Jay Beasley, who's going to UNLV. They got some guys. And we know Gorman could be scored on, right? Theoretically.
Did I mention that a time or two?
Yeah. So maybe, just maybe, there's hope in the Gorman camp in the Liberty camp that this one's going to be closer than you would think. Still, though, if Gorman's scoring 10 out of 11 drives, that's tough to do.
Yeah, for sure. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we thought maybe our review had caught Liberty, or you could probably make an argument that they would be even higher ranked at the end of the year, but they did not have a great showing. 20-2 against Cajun from California. You got to think, on the contrary to Liberty, their stock at least drops a little bit. I know we didn't expect them to win this game, but to just have so little offensive success, that sticks out a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm going to be an apologist. Our review started a freshman quarterback, Thaddeus Thatcher, my guy. And you're talking going from youth football to Friday Night Lights in the middle of a 100-year storm. Could we give him a little rope, Kiefer? But I tell you, all my theories, people look at me like I'm crazy. I tell you, California teams, they don't lose to Nevada teams. Unless it's like Needles, California, going to like Virgin Valley, which is going to happen this week. Right. But Thatcher, 9-17, 96 yards in his first game. Arbor View, which loves to run the ball, right? It's bread and butter. Only 37 yards rushing.
Yeah, so that was one to watch.
We'll
see if that continues, if they have a chance. I guess we touched on the top level. To go down a level, probably the game of the night. Oh, and while I was in my annoying phase, I should have so there's a pat myself on the back portion of the podcast here too, because I think I might have predicted the exact Faith Lutheran score. I had the Crittenden field goal to win it, and that's exactly what plays out, right? 24-21, Faith Lutheran over Palo Verde, probably the game of the week.
Yeah, and I even got a text on Friday night saying, "Hey, keeper, as Nostradamus on this." pegged it on the head. Shout out to Faith. They managed the rain delay well, and then even better, they rallied in the fourth quarter. They entered the fourth quarter down, and they escaped. They got a big time win, playing two quarterbacks, the Crusaders, and they're making it work. So, shout out to Coach Mike Sanford. Had a great talk with him on Friday night. Alex Rogers, Garrett Odom, the quarterbacks. Big time effort by the wide receiver for the Crusaders as well, Alex Rogers. And then, of course, 3 touchdowns unanswered by Paolo, Crew Daniel, Bryant Johnson with touchdowns. Great game, dude. Talk about, right, waiting out the delay, Friday Night Lights. Here we go. Let's see how we can make it happen.
And this has to change your opinion a little bit, right? Because I know you were so pro Palo last week. It seemed like you thought Palo Verde was number one with a bullet. It just goes to show you that there's going to be a lot of parity in this league, and there are some other contenders, right?
Yeah, and I just, I thought Foothill might have been in that conversation as a contender. Defense was, talk about bad defensive efforts. They went into Clovis East in the Fresno area, lost 63 to whatever.
34.
Quarterback had a great game, threw for 4 touchdowns for Faith Lutheran. For Faith Lutheran. Gosh, I'm getting old. For Foothill, for the Hill, where my kid's going to go theoretically, right? Nothing changed.
Yeah.
Mason Dew, 27 of 40, 457 yards, 4 TDs, 2 picks though. But to go into California and throw for 457 yards.
Yeah, we didn't expect them to win this game anyway. So them putting up, and I know I'm probably being a hypocrite after throwing such a fit about Gorman giving up 42, but I don't know. This score honestly doesn't concern me that much. I'd be much more concerned if they just lost. Would they end up losing by 29? If they lost 29-0, I'd be like, oh, it was just a blowout as you expected. Clovis let off the horses, but clearly Foothill had some fight, has some offense. I just always feel like if you can throw the ball at the level, even though he had some interceptions, you just read his stat line, they could sneak up on some people. I wouldn't be scratching them off a list of contenders. If anything, it kind of makes them a scary matchup for some people.
Okay, so in the same class is Green Valley, right?
And they hung around for a while, right, before eventually losing to Harriman.
They were up at halftime.
Okay.
And then Harriman kind of had like a line change. And it was one of those things where Green Valley just ran out of gas. Situation where kids are at school all day, starting and stopping. And then you finally get to go in the rain. And great first quarter, got the lead. And then second half, they just, they were on empty.
Yeah, they wilted. They were done after that one. But not a terrible result for them either. 30-18, Harriman. Of course, once you're leading at halftime, you probably feel like you have a win, but didn't come through. Trying to see what other games actually took place here before we get to this week's picks. Any other ones you want to touch on? I did see Moapa took down Hurricane. I guess that's probably the 3A headliner, unless there's something else I'm missing.
Yeah, well, shout out to Canyon. Canyon won the first game of the year. They beat Virgin Valley. Watched a little bit of that on TV. Was ugly, but Canyon got it done. I believe it was 19-7. Pioneers with the dub. Barneson's Somerset team went into Pahrump. Game got suspended 18-13. And are we forgetting any? Oh, Shadow opened it up. Shadow got a win in week 1. Colome got hurt. He'll be okay. They only threw the ball one time.
35-19 over Legacy.
Legacy. And that's the game I was telling you where they were raving. The coaches were just raving about, first of all, Legacy could have pulled the plug at any time and said they didn't want to play. But to hang out basically in the hallway of Shadow Ridge for 3 hours, just so you could get a game in. Meanwhile, Shadow Ridge was doing like basically had senior night in the gym. They took advantage of the time. Was honoring all their seniors. They brought all their supporters inside the gym.
They honor their seniors in game one.
Yeah, it was just like a makeshift senior night. Because it was pouring down rain, so they had everybody in the gym. And Travis Foster was like you remember in 2020 we couldn't play football, so having just one game canceled, the value of that.
Yeah.
And Foster was just raving, and they even put a big note on Twitter, but thanking the officials. Think about it; those officials get there like at 4:35 for 6 o'clock. No, even 3:34 for a 6 o'clock game, right? And to stay 6.5 hours for like $70.
Yeah, that's a
You gotta
long.
love the kids for $9 an hour.
Yeah, for sure. One of those seniors that presumably was honored, Evan Cannon, had over 200 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. So yeah, that's a guy to look out for.
Yeah, that dude was he was like their backup last year, and during the state game, he got in and he went crazy. And that was probably the beginning of something that was very good. So
yeah, it seems like he'll be going crazy a lot this year.
Silverado got it done again. 35-0, I think, against Cimarron Memorial.
I see 38.
38-0 against Cimarron Memorial. And I forgot to put that game on the high school football page. I apologize. I got to get it on there now.
Yeah, I thought like maybe you're a little too down on Silverado. I don't expect them to compete for a championship at the top level, but
Marcus Council.
I don't know. It seems like they're sick of hearing about all that they lost, and they say they have a lot back too. Yeah, especially defensively, they felt like they were going to be stout, and you can't argue with a shutout in week one.
Yeah, and they had you would see my story. They had like 7 sacks.
Well, there you go.
But of course, I didn't put it on the football page, and I'm going to do that right now as we talk. So.
Yep, that was a straight. You motivated them by talking about how down they were all off season.
But I mean, this is a team that was able to develop its program in the 4A. Now they're back in the top division, and they're going to lose eventually. I mean, they're going to lose to Silverado. They're going to lose to Liberty. They're going to lose to Gorman, right?
Yeah.
Probably lose to Desert Pines, right? Desert Pines is interesting. I don't want to get too far deep into our picks right now, but DP had its game canceled with Spring Valley. They play Faith on Friday.
Should be one of the best games of the week, I would think.
Faith with the game. There's a gigantic difference between having one game and not.
I know that's a theory for sure.
It's a theory. That is a fact.
I don't know if we've coined it a theory before, but it's definitely a theory.
You think it's a theory?
I think it's a theory for sure.
I mean, a theory is Vegas teams lose to California teams or best player on the field. A fact is the difference between week one and week two.
See, I don't think it's a fact. I lean towards your side that it is bigger and it's better to have a game under your belt, but there's also the argument to be made for that if you're sharp and can avoid those game one mistakes, you're a little fresher and you can have an advantage there too.
I mean, so here's how it is, Case. Like, teams schedule weak teams in week one to kind of go through the motion. So like UNLV football is playing Bryant in week one, right? Bryant's meant to kind of be like a stepping stone. You go through the motions. Hammer them like you hammered Idaho State last year. Give you another example. USC, right? Got a Heisman Trophy winner, Williams, best quarterback, and the next Patrick Mahomes. They bring in a weaker team in week one. Who does USC play in week one?
San Jose State. But
who do they play in week two?
I don't know.
I set this up. Why did you steal my thunder? They play Reno. That's Reno's opener. They play the USC. Okay, go ahead.
But they play. Yeah. Oh, you didn't realize they play this week.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, you blew it. I thought I blew it. You blew it. Yeah, it didn't work out. So yeah, they actually have swings the other way for you. They're trying to make sure they're ready for Reno.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. It's interesting. I think not having played the week before can be a benefit to a team that's not super deep. And like, I think Desert Pines usually fits into. They kind of have their guys and their guys are their guys. Maybe you want fresh legs and not have to deal with anything else. But we'll see. That'll be an interesting game to break down. And I guess that makes for a good segue. Why don't we just start picking this week's slate, and we'll start off with Sunrise Mountain and Cheyenne.
Yeah, Thursday night light game. Thursday night light, shout out to them. They're not exactly going after the marquee matchup of the week. They're trying to get a lot of schools involved. Definitely some emerging teams here. I got to go with what I know, and that's Chris Sawyer's. I'll take the dub for the Niners.
Yeah, I got to agree with Sunrise Mountain. I think they're on the up. I think I was even higher than them on them than you were last year. So I'll start or last week, excuse me, fumbling here. I'll go Sunrise Mountain.
You say you agree with.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yes,
and we'll see if we agree on this next one. Pinnacle from Arizona. Looks like is our review going there.
No, that's at NAU. It's a tournament. It's an NAU kickoff weekend. So basically, the old Sullenberger Classic
is now NAU kickoff weekend.
With nothing to do with the Sullenberger family.
Okay, all right.
So this is a heck of a good game, and that's when when you heard the noise coming from my machine. This was the Pinnacle Pioneers, right? They've got a player. Well, no, that kid graduated. So I don't know what to make of this game, CK. I really don't. I would have picked Arborview. You know what? I am picking Arborview. That's official. Pinnacle is playing its first game. They graduated their best receiver and running back from last year. It's a 6A school up there, but listen, nobody's got better numbers than Arborview. I think Arborview is as good as I thought they would be. They'll make a jump from week 1 to week 2. Be nice to get away. You know, it's a little cooler in Flagstaff, right? You ever been to Flagstaff?
You're struggling with these ads.
I'm just trying to get some information, but I'm going with Arborview and, the ads from.
I'm going to go with Pinnacle. I think there will be a leap and they'll be a little bit better from week 1 to week 2, but I don't know, 6A school in Arizona that I've heard of, I know has been good. I don't know. I feel like that's going to have to be a giant leap for our review to knock them off. And I have some questions about this offense after those numbers you just ran off. I mean, only 39 rushing yards, didn't throw it as particularly well either. I think Pinnacle defends its home state and wins that game. Next, we've got Gorman and Long Beach Poly.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, this Gorman team's not the best team in Gorman history, as I proclaimed last week. But Long Beach Poly doesn't have a quarterback named Wilson. And even though this game is in California, so it's back-to-back road games for Gorman, I don't see them losing. I just don't see Gorman not scoring.
Yeah, I think Gorman will kind of, I'm not going to say eat my words because my thing stands. My thing wasn't so anti-Gorman. It was just that Brewer was already labeling them so much better than past Gorman teams that had already accomplished the ultimate. But I think they bounce back here, and this will be a big result. I think that giving up that many points will be a teaching moment, and the offense, it seems like it's already in midseason form. I don't think this is what I'm talking about when it can be different for the first game. Some teams don't need to shake off any rust. They're in midseason form, and I feel like at least one side of the ball Gorman was, and that will be too much for Long Beach. So I'll have Gorman with a pretty comfortable win here.
Yeah, year 4 of Alejado calling the offense. Obviously, great offensive coordinator over there. And I mean, the will's pretty big of plays, but we agree.
Absolutely. Green Valley and Snow Canyon from Utah.
Yeah, Green Valley trying to play as many Utah teams as possible. I love the Gators, obviously, but I love Snow Canyon even more this week.
Why do they particularly want to play so many Utah? Are you just talking or just?
Yeah, this is how it works out.
All right. Yeah. Green Valley has a bone to pick with Utah, and it's only going to grow bigger after this game because I think they lose to a second straight Utah opponent. Snow Canyon holds on. Kind of an interesting one here from the middle of their league. I think Durango and Desert Oasis both have sights on being better this year and maybe competing, but one's going to take a big step forward. Who's it going to be?
Yeah, this is a probably behind the faith DP game, potentially the closest game of the week. Two teams that historically have been pretty equal. I think they've gone back and forth beating each other. Robert Cuts' first game with Meet Durango. Brant Smith, year 3 at DO. I'm taking the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, that was my first reaction too. I was hoping you'd be on Durango. I think it's close though. I think it's settled by a touchdown or less. I'll go 28-20 Desert Oasis. Western against Valley.
Yeah, God bless both these programs. Valley, from our media day, I know they only had 28 kids total in the whole program. Western in July hadn't even had a head coach. Thankfully, they could play each other, get some good reps in. This is a coin flipper for me, CK, and I got Valley.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Valley too. It seems like they're usually a step ahead of Western. I wish we could have disagreed on that one, but Valley was my first reaction as well. Is this the week where we see some wear on Silverado and they do take that step back? Kind of a rivalry game, Old Henderson matchup with Basic, who I know they've beaten up pretty good the last few years, but they'll renew the rivalry here this week. I think Silverado rolls, but what about you?
I agree. Did you see me circle Silverado before you
No,
said that? You
I'm
did?
not
Okay.
watching your circling. No.
Okay, usually I do the picks before the show, but I'm a little behind today. I'm also using a Silverado purple pen. But I think you hit the analysis perfectly with Silverado earlier. The defense has just been a calling card this year's team. And I think the fact that Silverado played last week and Basic didn't means a lot. I got the Hawks.
All right, so another game we agree on. How about Centennial and Palo Verde?
Centennial at Palo Verde. Centennial got a win on Saturday outside of our coverage. Palo was in that great back and forth game of the week. I will take Furious Hoskins and the Panthers.
And there, you probably shouldn't have said that because there goes your theory. Centennial beat a California school 42-20. I thought Nevada schools can't beat California. King Drew.
I don't even know where that is.
Oh, I'm just saying.
Do the math.
Hey, you said
on the border.
Oh, hey, you said they can't beat. You said California schools. It's in LA.
Magnet school from LA. I don't even know if that counts.
How's it not? Now there's qualifications to the theory.
I mean, it's a medicine and science magnet school. Doesn't exactly scream football powerhouse, but you're right. My theory's proven wrong. Centennial beat my school of future doctors.
I just don't think that the theory is absolute, is all I'm saying. So yeah, shout out to Centennial. Sorry I missed that till Brewer brought it up, but I think they get the L this week. I think Palo Verde bounces back, but who knows? Maybe Centennial. I mean, going to LA and I think the LA came here, but putting up that big number on them, maybe that means something. Maybe this can be more competitive, but I'm going to be Palo Verde.
DJ Campbell, first dub as the coach.
Yeah, good for him. Cimarron Memorial and Pinecrest.
I'm going to go Cimarron.
I'll go Cimarron as well. East from Utah against Coronado.
East from Utah.
Yeah, no chance for Coronado here. I've never heard of East. I've never heard of East.
It's going really deep
Salt
in
Lake.
Salt Lake.
That's tough.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go with East as well. Don't know much about them though. But Democracy Prep, your favorite team. Oh your favorite team against your alma mater. What are you gonna do here?
Chaparral all day. Come on, get out of here.
Really?
At home?
I thought you loved Democracy.
I don't dislike them. But
okay, I thought you were talking them up to me.
No,
I might be confusing them.
I think you might.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there some other prep school you really liked?
Was it Slam?
Well, I know you like Slam. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know where that came from, but all right.
I mean, of course, I like Gorman more.
So this is a blowout for Shap.
I mean, Democracy Prep doesn't even have a field.
Well, yeah, I know that, but they've still been competitive, haven't they?
They have been. This is their first year kind of back in playing bigger schools.
Okay, that makes sense. All right,
I'm gonna when they went over and beat Coronado.
I'm gonna go with they beat Coronado.
This
I
was
remember
like
that.
5
Yeah.
years ago.
Okay.
Keith Jones was last year at Democracy.
All right, I'll go with Shap, but man,
I wanted to hear.
I'm tempted by Democracy, but you were so dismissive that I feel like I'm off.
Should we get you a Shap sweaters? Yeah. Do you have room in your?
I'm not a big orange guy. I don't like the orange. I don't like their colors. So I'll pass, but but I appreciate the offer. Legacy and Alta, Utah.
Yeah, seems like there's a bus of Vegas teams heading up to Utah this week. I'm going to take Alta.
Yeah, and they might go over, honestly. I think the Utah team probably has the edge in all these games, including this one, so I'll take Alta. Bonanza at Spring Valley, an old rivalry here renewed.
Banner game, give me the Grizzlies Spring Valley.
Yeah, I think Spring Valley's ahead of them now. It's too bad these programs used to be super even, right? We wouldn't know who to pick going into this game, but I feel like it's Spring Valley's to lose this year. Shadow Ridge and Spanish Springs.
Gigantic game.
Really?
Gigantic.
Why is that?
Well, because Spanish Springs is Reno, and the Reno schools were complaining that they didn't want to play any of the big schools in Vegas anymore, right? They're sick of it. They just can't compete. They don't have enough kids, yada, yada, yada. Then Shadow Ridge reaches out for a game, and they're like, yeah, we'll play. I'd love to play you. Well, Shadow Ridge is in the 5A. They went 20-4 the last 2 years. Their offense is unstoppable. This is a show me game. I'll take the Stangs.
Yeah, I got to think this is Shadow Ridge and my guy, Blake Cannon. Was that his name?
Evan Cannon.
Evan Cannon. All right, my bad.
And hopefully, I will tell you though, I mean, not that they need Colomade to play to win because they run the rock.
That would still help a lot. That's a guy that has a lot of production.
There, he's going to run all over them. So hopefully Colomade is playing, and hopefully the Stings get a win.
Yeah, that's a big concern. He's meant a lot to them, obviously. Next game, Somerset. Losi against Del Sol. Somerset let me down last week. They lost at Pahrump. I believe we were on opposite sides of that game.
Don't say that. Don't say that because the game was suspended in the third quarter.
Oh,
so it was 18-15.
I just saw the score. It was 18-13 in the third quarter.
Should we in the pick say we went blank and won?
Well, does it count as an official result? I mean,
I think it might. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure, but
well, you won though. You had Pahrump.
I know, but I don't want Barnson to be upset with me.
I think you got to go by the rule book. So if it's an official win, it's a win for you. But I think Somerset gets the win this week. I think they'll beat Del Sol.
I would agree. But begrudgingly, but I will agree.
Begrudgingly, you have you don't like Somerset?
No, I don't. I have nothing against Somerset, but I'd like to see. I'd like to see Del Sol play. I mean, this with the cancellations. Who knows? Our boy could have flipped them around here.
Yeah, we'll see. This should be an interesting game to monitor. But the most interesting game to monitor, the game of the week, we've already agreed. Desert Pines gets a debut after their game with Spring Valley was scrapped due to the weather, and they're playing 1-0 Faith Lutheran.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game, a great opening night test for Desert Pines, who, let's be honest, they're going to have 10 penalties for 85 yards or whatever it is, and they're going to have some poor snaps. But I can't get over my head. Remember when Faith was like the defending champs and DP went over there and beat them? Do you remember that?
Is this game at Faith, by the way? I don't know where the games are.
Okay. At Faith. I just can't. I can't. You knew when you saw this, I was picking Desert.
No, I thought you might pick Faith, and I was hoping because I wanted to pick Desert Pines here.
So I just remember when Faith had John
Melanson.
No, the kid that plays.
Oh, Molchon.
Okay,
right? Yeah, I thought you were trying to pronounce
big college prospect, right? Going to Boise, and DP had Anthony Smith, and Anthony Smith just ate that guy for lunch. And I just think that DP is I just love Desert Pines, man. I don't know what it is. I mean, even like Liberty gets on me because I like them so much.
Yeah, I think it's close, but I was hoping that week one thing would sway you and you'd go Faith Lutheran. I mean, I still think the kicker's a big edge. I mean, we saw him come through how much of a difference it made in a close game last week.
Desert Pines has got a good kicker too.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I'm just not.
But isn't the Crittenden kid like all time?
The Crittenden kid, yes, is all time. But I mean, it's not like Desert Pines doesn't have a kicker. And I want to get this kid's name because I like him a lot. Max Press. My fault. Hold on. I should know this chapter and verse, but I don't. Adrian Canaro.
Okay.
Kid from DP.
Two of the best kickers in town then?
Yeah, the Vinatieri kid from Arbor's got to be in
two of the best. I knew he was up there.
Two of the best, yeah.
Okay.
Two of the best in town. Again, Desert Pines is going to have some opening. They always do, CK. But I just think when Jalen Allen and Greg Burrell and Messiah Mingo get rolling. By the way, the Corey Villarreal kid from Spring Valley, who was All-State last year, transferred over to DP. So,
Yeah, my first reaction was DP here, and I was hoping you go the other way, but since you didn't, I'm just gonna have to agree with you. Unfortunately, you know how much that pains me, but I'm gonna go with Faith Lutheran won the close game in week 1. I think this is another close game. I think Desert Pines makes a few more explosive plays. I'll have Desert Pines in a really tight one, like 28-27 or something like that. Foothill and Moapa Valley. This could be a runner in the best games of the week category too. I don't know which way I'm going to go in this one.
yeah, this is very interesting because if you just look at last year, it would have been 5A against 3A, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know that Foothill could really sling the ball around.
I have such suspense on who you're going to circle because I decided who I'm going to pick.
All right. Well, I'm not. I mean, I'm picking Moapa because nobody wins in Overton, and Foothill can't stop a nosebleed. So I got the Pirates.
I do have to say, I don't like the setup of you gave me for I actually like doing the picks before I see your picks, but I don't like the setup that I don't know where the games are. We need to get some ats in here next week because Overton does change things. It's tough to go win up there.
Typically, though, CK, the second team on that sheet is the home team.
The second team. Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. So at Moapa, which kind of makes me waffle a little bit, but my gut says Foothill. I think Moapa usually takes them a little bit of an adjustment period. Like you said, it's 5A versus 3A. There's got to be a lot bigger numbers on the Foothill side. I think Foothill goes up there and gets the win. So we're going to be
a good game.
Opposite sides on that one. Yeah. It should be a good game. We agree on that. Needles from California is coming to Mesquite to take on Virgin Valley.
Yeah, I was wrong about Virgin last week, but Needles is like a 2A team. I think with the travel coming from wherever in the heck Needles is, isn't it on the way to California?
I know it's somewhere, and I know it's a desert town,
California.
Famous desert town, right? That's about all I know.
Is that where the gyro place is at?
I have no idea.
You know, when you're driving to California, there's this big sign to get a gyro.
Oh yeah,
Is that how you say it?
I thought it was Hero, but
gyro for me. I'm like,
okay, it's all good.
Yeah, have you ever had one of those?
Yeah, which is basically a sandwich, right?
With like lamb. I'm not a big lamb guy.
No, I don't do the lamb. No, but
what do you do? You would just have the
I've got like chicken Hero before.
Yeah.
Or they have like some special beef that they season a little bit differently.
That's
I think. No, I've never gotten the lamb. There's ones they will say beef, lamb, chicken. I feel like those are the choices. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's the
not a lamb. Yeah.
Desert.
Yeah, I know it's famous desert town.
And they're also flooding right now. So
that game could be in trouble.
The game's here,
but still, if they can't get there,
or if they can't practice.
Yeah.
So.
Did I get that game right last week? I feel like I might have picked Canyon over Virgin. I think I might have one up on you on that one.
You might be.
All right. Well, hey.
Well, I mean, I theoretically have the Somerset game.
But I had Faith Lutheran. I need to be tracking my picks. You had Palo. I thought you had Palo.
I had Faith.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was high on Palo to win state, but not to beat Faith.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Sorry about that.
You had the tightness of the game.
Okay. All right. Yep. Okay. Virgin Valley, if they play this game at Mesquite, I think has the leg up. So we agree there.
I would agree.
All right. St. Louis of Hawaii against Liberty. This should be an interesting one.
Well, first of all, shout out to my guy Nua. You know Nua, you love Nua. This is his little Ninth Island Classic. So St. Louis is coming out here. They're going to play Liberty this week, and next week they're going to play Desert Pines.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for them.
Yeah, and it's all because of Nua, and of course everything. Not that St. Louis is in Honolulu, not necessarily Maui. Not that I know my Hawaii geography well, but shout out to Nua for all his fundraising efforts to get items to Maui. I love that guy. I love that Hawaiian spirit, brother. This is tough because St. Louis of Hawaii used to be No, I'm taking Liberty. I'm not even talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, so St. Louis of Hawaii back in the day used to be like, I don't want to say used to be like Gorman, but a lot of like the good island players are coming here to play for Gorman instead of going to St. Louis. So there's a little commonality, but Kahuka put it to St. Louis last week. I don't know if you see the score on that.
Interesting. No, I hadn't seen the score, but I do remember. I mean, it wasn't that long ago when St. Louis was like a powerhouse, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've I think that's where Marcus Mariota went, right?
Did he? Timmy Chang went there. Right?
Okay, I think like a lot. I think that a lot of big time guys went there. Let's see. Yeah, Mariota, Tua, Jaden DeLora, who's at Arizona right now, Timmy Chang. Look at these quarterbacks they produced. Jeremiah Masoli, I remember from Oregon.
Machado was supposed to go there, but he came to Gorman.
But now he's going back for college, right?
Yeah.
Is that a big get for Hawaii? Seems like, I mean, I know size wise, he's not.
That's the hiccup. If the guy was 5'9", if he was 6'2", he'd be going to play for War Eagle or something.
But we got like some 5'8" guys in the NFL now. I feel like the height doesn't matter as much as it once did. I don't know. And I've seen that kid play. I feel like he could be a big get for Timmy Chang now in the coaching role. Am I crazy?
No, it's good. Yeah. Do you know who else went there?
Who else?
Benny Agbayana. Do you remember him from the Mets? Outfielder. Am I dating myself now?
Yeah, it might be a little bit before my time. Let's see. I'm on this same list, so now I see it. His last appearance was 2002. I feel like I should know who that is, but I don't remember him. Man, when we went down this, I had no idea it was going to be this long of a list.
Yeah.
Olin Kreutz, who was probably a Hall of Famer, if I had to think. Man, that's this whole so St. Louis, as far as history, they are way up there. But you're so confident, I got to follow you. I'm going to go with Liberty as well.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
So my Silverado purple.
All right, and I always like to give you the final word on Prep Sports Now. Any parting thoughts?
Got nothing. We'll do it again on Tuesday because next Monday, right?
Whatever you want.
Tuesday would be Labor Day Tuesday. That's 2 weeks away. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay.
Well, for Ray, I'm Case. Thanks for listening.